We're going to begin in just a moment. We're going to begin in just a moment. Hey, doing, Mike? And what we'll do is, if in the chat, if you don't do me a favor, please give a shout out, your name and where you're watching from. And the question for today is, do you use a dedicated macro lens when doing macro photography, or do you make do with the lenses you have? Do you make do, or do you use a dedicated macro lens, or make do with the lenses you have in your kit? And we'll be starting, like I said, in just a moment. Welcome, everyone, and we're going to begin in just a moment. So the question before the show is, do you have a dedicated macro lens, or do you make do with what you have? Do you have a dedicated macro lens, or do you make do with what you have? All right, guys, and let's begin. Hello and welcome to another Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Finalizing. Now, the Luminar Coffee Breaks were designed to be collaborative, to where we're sitting around a virtual coffee shop and we're swapping ideas and we're collaborating on different shoots and we're sharing knowledge with each other. So ask the questions in the chat and then we'll supply the answers. So let's do a real quick call out to a few of my friends. Hello from Italy. Just bought the latest. Oh, yes. The lens tubes are another good one. Hello from Scotland. All right. So a couple things. I'm really excited about our topic today. Excuse me. And our topic today is how to make a great photographer's portrait. How to make a great photographer's portrait, because let's face it, we're all photographers, so we do need a good portrait of ourselves. And after talking to my good buddy Skip Cohen, Skip brought out a good point when he saw some of the profile pictures I was using in the past and just said, Vanelli. Now, I'm also an educator and a teacher, so my portrait is going to be slightly different from the average photographer, but for my photography site, yes, I'll use a picture with me with a lens in it. So, before we get into that, I just want to mention that Fujifilms, we want to thank you so much for being our partner. And Fuji has a great message, and they want to share, stay creative, stay at home, stay with Fuji. Now, what's really cool, since we're talking about portraits, Fujifilm created a really cool ebook for portrait photography, and it's free of charge. So it's called the Picture Perfect Portraits with Fujifilm and the X series. Just drop in your name, email address, and what state you're in, and then they'll shoot you off a copy of the newest ebook. I just got mine, and I thought that was great. The bit.ly, the little shortened link, is right here in the bottom. bit.ly / Fujifilm or Fujifilm Book 1. All right, so with that being said, let's dive right in. Now, these images here were shot during out of Chicago, a photography a photography event, obviously in Chicago. So these are the images we took. Notice, yes, where we get the nice camera raw shirt. My buddy Mike asked I think Fro does that. So here's a good, I believe this is Seth. Look at this. Big guy. Here's his camera. I love that shot here with him. Most of you remember Jamie McDonald. Again, this looks better because he actually has his business shirt with his camera. All right? Now, let me show you something. Don't laugh. So, people ask me for my portrait for speaking engagements, and I jokingly sent this one, and the person came back saying, I like it, but you're such a nice guy, that looks really mean. It was a joke, but he didn't catch that. So here's something I would use as a speaker, or as a speaker, and this one I used in my Facebook profile for the longest time because Scott Kelby took it, and it was back when we were just learning about the sports grit look. So we were just learning about the grit look, and I just loved that photo. I loved what Scott did with it. So this one here is my corporate photo, only because, again, I do a lot of speaking. This is my Facebook profile because on Facebook, again, we can be creative. Now, I wouldn't use this for my Facebook profile photo if it's for my business page. If I used it for my personal page, there's nothing wrong with that. And Eric Egley, phenomenal photographer, took this one. All right, so let's get back to the attendees. Now, what we're going to do is this. I'm going to start out, and I'm going to add my signature look to it, the sports grit, but then I'm going to go to an extreme, but then I'm going to dial it way back to where you look at it and go, ooh, that looks cool. There's an image, there's edits done to it, and I can't quite put my finger on it because it's not overboard. So I'll show you the two different versions we're going to do. So the first version, yes, we're going to come in, and we'll start with my favorite AI accent. Now when I do this, and again, I'm not making excuses, you can see the background. When I went out of Chicago, it was spur of the moment. I needed somebody to come in and help teach, and my buddy Gary from Hunts invited me, or actually I should say volunteered me. So I went in, and this was an X-drop background. It was only 5 foot by 7 feet. Look how huge this guy is. So that was fine, but it's not perfect. If we were in the photo studio, I'd have a 10-foot backdrop, excuse me, so that I would have to worry about how to fix it. So right now, I'm using Luminar to fix a mistake that I created. All right? Now, the time that I was shooting this, look how flat the image looks. The reason for that was the special sports grit look I was creating at the time needed it to be a dull, flat image, and now I'm going to change it up just a bit. All right, so I used AI accent to get it going, and what we're going to do is I do want to add a couple things to this. One moment. There we go. Here we go. From Scotland. Want to give a shout out to a bunch of people. Here we go. All right. So I had to fix the background. So I'm going to go to the advanced, to the Pro Tools, and we'll use Dodge and Burn. I'm going to start painting, but darken, and I might as well take that strength to 100%. And now I'm just going to come in, excuse me, and then just paint around. Here we go. And already, look what's happening. Already he's looking sharp. He's jumping off a little bit because the background looks pitch dark. All right, so I have that set. Now, how did I do the lighting? So for this, the lighting is, I used a softbox, or I'm sorry, I used a beauty dish off to the camera left, but not a traditional way. I didn't bring it straight on and in, which I should have. It was off on a slight angle. Then I had a second light, cross lighting, like so. But that was a strip box. So the box was very narrow. So if you notice on sets here, like on the edges, I had two of them, one on one side, one on the other. So this was cross lighting. And then I had a third light here. So notice it's filling in some right here. Look at that. It's giving like a rim light behind them. All right? So that's how we took the shot. Now, we got the image looking good because of the back. Let's come back up to the essential tools and we'll apply a little structure. And that structure, look what it's going to do to his shirt and even the camera. Detail enhancer. So I want to bring out more detail, finer details in his beard, in the face area. And in doing that, I'm going to have to come back and smooth the skin because now look how it's really affecting the skin. And that's probably the small details. So let's bring that back in. Yep, sure enough. And bring the medium details out. Good. So we have it set. Nice. Now let's get creative. So I'll come up. Actually, before I get creative, let's come into the portrait tools. And even though he's a male, I don't want to go overboard, but I do want to smooth the skin just a little bit and a little bit of shine removal. Good. Of course, my favorite, we're going to come over here. And what I want to do is enhance the eyes. Even though he's wearing glasses, first let's make sure the face light. Yep, sure enough. So let's bring the face out just a little bit. Now I'm going to enhance his eyes a lot. And let's remove some of the dark circles. Good. And that's actually it on how I want to enhance the portrait. So now I have my portrait looking good. Now I want to get creative. As always, I jump to the dramatic tool. And I'm going to give it a hefty, look at that. But I do know I want to increase the contrast. Look at that. And I'll dial it back just a little. But I'm going to come back over here and bring back some of the color. Nice. And let's dial down the brightness a little bit. Not too much. Look at that. So, before and after. Now, I like where this is heading. What I need to do is come back to the essential tools. And I'm going to choose a vignette. But I want to do something a little bit different with the vignette. I want to select him and just really give it a lot. Right about like this. Beautiful. And maybe a little inner light. Not too much. Right about here. That's good. All right. So I have my inner light going on. Feather it just a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Good. Now, in doing this, I lost some of the detail. I lost the camera. So before and after, I want to get that camera back. So actually, I'm going to come in here with the brush tool, and I want to select erase, and just come over the camera, just a little bit. All right, and done. Now, I want that camera to jump out, so let's come back to the dodge and burn. Now, earlier we burnt the background. Now we want to apply a lighten effect. And I'm going to start small and gradually build into it. Good, so doesn't seem like a lot. So I'm going to take my time and then turn it on and off. Look at that. So you see how that's drawing attention to the camera? However, I got a little overspill, so I want to erase the thumb. Good. Maybe the knuckles. And down in here. So that camera is still selected. Before, after, good. All right, I like exactly where it's at. And we're set. So here we are so far. Here's before. Here's after. And I'm looking at his face. I'm noticing his face has just a little too much attention drawn to it. So I'm going to move the face light back a little bit. All right, good. I like that. Now, this right here could be a really cool Facebook profile picture. I'll send it off to him, export, and let's just call this grit look. And then, pow, send it off to him. Great, he loves it. Now he says, Vanelli, I have a teaching engagement. They love it, but can we tone down the effect? By all means. We'll come up to layers. I'll bring it all the way back. Now I'm going to bring it up just enough to where it looks like there's changes made to it, but not enough to where it's overboard. Excuse me. All right, so that's how I did that edit. Now, so I showed two versions of that. One version would be something that he would use on Facebook or give to his friends. He just looks cool. The other version would be something that he would send off to, let's say, if he did a speaking engagement. Now, Lori doesn't know I'm doing this, but I'm going to use one of my good friends, Lori Novak's photo. She was there. Actually, one of the first times I met her. If I'm not mistaken, I also met Brian Essler for the first time at the event. Now, if you're looking at the image, guys, yeah, I totally know I messed up. I mean, I know that this was not my best shots. We did what was called step and repeat. They gave us like 30 minutes, or was it, I think like 45 minutes or so, 45 minutes to an hour, and said, hey, all the instructors just pick a room, do whatever you want, and the attendees will come in. They came in, step and repeat. Stepped up, click, click, next, repeat. Step up, click, click, next, repeat. And in doing that, like I said, I knew that I shot this for the look I created. However, the bad part about that is if I don't use that sports grip look, then the image looks like this and not a very flattering one. So once again, we're going to rely on Luminar to fix the mistakes and then help me to enhance it or be creative. At the same time, I'm going to come to my user looks, and I created one called Ash. So if I applied the grit look onto the females, the only problem with that is I love female skin nice and smooth and soft. With the grit look, it comes out very aggressive. So instead, I applied something a little bit different, more of a softer look. Now, by using AI accent, I'm going to dial it back a little bit. That's fine. Notice the background. I'm getting like a little banding with the background. I showed you earlier how we were going to fix that. And that's where we'll come back with the dodge and burn tool. I'm going to darken. Let's say 50% for now. Right around Lori's head. Now I went overboard. But look at that. Look how it's making it jump. And then erase. And we'll put it up in here. There we go. And bring it back in just a little bit. There we go. All right. We're set and done. Now, I don't have to bring out the camera because, look, it's already there. The camera already looks good. So, here's before image. Pow! Here's an after image, much sharper, much sharper. Now, fire away if you start having any questions, and I'll start to answer them. I'm going to try something really cool that's going to blow your mind. However, when I did this earlier, because it's going to be very intensive with the computer, I hope I'm not going to lock up the NDI that I had a problem with yesterday. Wow, That was a nightmare. So let's do this. I'm going to come over to my good buddy, Jamie McDonald. Let's apply that grit look to it. And once I apply that grit look, I'll tweak it just a little bit more. But this, you're really, really going to love. All right, let's see, Jamie. It wants to do it. There we go. Oh, it's updating down here. All right. There we go. All right. So I got Jamie set. His face is a little too much. So let's come down to, yep, portrait. Bring that in a little bit. Okay, I like it. Now, do we notice something? Look very close. There's that shine right there on his forehead. All right. Well, great. Normally, I can come over here, go to the skin enhancer, say, you know what? Get rid of that bad boy. Oh, wait a second. It didn't do it. Huh. All right. Well, let's create another layer. So now I have a new adjustment layer. And I'll come back down to the portrait. And I can apply it again. Remove it. Huh. It didn't do it. I blew out that spot so bad that Luminar's looking at that and saying, hey, look, you destroyed it. You need to repair it. Now, how did I do that? When you're photographing, especially with a beauty dish is a small light source. So if you bring that light source right up tight onto the person, oh, it's going to look beautiful because it's going to take that shine and spread it across his forehead. Instead, here's the mistake I made. Here's a beauty dish on Jamie. I pulled it back. Well, now I'm not using it as a beauty dish. I'm using it as a small light source, a small softbox. Small light is going to produce a harsh shadow, further away. So, with that being said, kind of botched it, huh? Right? So let's come back over. And what I want to do is show in Explorer. Now, it's an NEF file, so it's a RAW file. I'll right-click on it, and I want to edit it or open it in Photoshop. Now, Photoshop is going to open up, bring in Jamie's photo, and we're going to work a little magic with it. Should have Photoshop open earlier, I apologize. Good. All right, so here's the deal. Let me open it up. You use Luminar. Use Luminar for what it's made for, to enhance and make beautiful images, to help you become creative in a very, very short time. If you have Photoshop, then use Photoshop what it was meant for, and that is to repair images, and just add, to have advanced skills to repair or fix images. So now, what I want to do is create a new layer. I'm going to select the eyedropper tool, and I want to select a color of the skin close to the shine. Now, I'll grab a brush tool. Now, this is important. I'm painting at 22. Who knows why? And I'm counting on you, Russ. Who knows why I picked 22 as a starting point for opacity? Put that in the comments. And guess. I mean, the odds of you knowing the answer are like 1,000,000 to 1. So just have at it. Ready? While I do this, I'm going to come across and just lightly paint away that little shine. I'll do that one too. All right. Now, since I got rid of the shine, guess what? I have to add texture. So I'm going to come over here and filter. add noise, and look what's happening. It's going to make it appear like it has more texture to it. Once I have it in, now I'm going to come in, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Ah, there it is. Now I spread it across his face. All right? So here's before, here's after. I can decide if I want to start out at 0 and then slowly work it in. Yeah, 100% looks fine. All right, how cool is that? Now, who knows? It's my birthday. That would have been a good one. So come on, Dak is the only one who's trying to figure out why I choose number 22 whenever I do like opacity stuff like this. All right, he's the only one. I'll tell you guys, it was my son's Alex lacrosse number. All right, 22 is a famous lacrosse player. Is a famous lacrosse player named Casey Powell, and so my son used. Let's see. Yes, you guys are coming up with like really, really, real good reasons why. No, I just picked 22 because again, it's my son's lacrosse number, and just it's a joke between him and I. So whenever I do something like this where the opacity doesn't make a huge difference, I'll just slap 22 on it, and it's just an inside joke. But that's been my son's lacrosse number. All right, so we did a great job fixing it. Right? Here's what I was saying why it's going to be so cool. I'm going to save it. I'll save it as a PSD file in the same folder. Ooh, look at this. No wonder we're having a little issues is I have this on an external drive, and that's actually an SSD external drive. But let's just save it. And it's done. Now that it's saved, let's close out of Photoshop. I'm going to come back into Luminar. I'm going to go to a different folder. When I come back again, still not there yet, it's about to update. You'll see where I'm heading with this, right? Because we used this inside Luminar, or because I went from an image from inside Luminar and saved it back into Luminar, in a moment, once it refreshes, it's going to add that new image in again. There it is. Boom! Look at that. So now we have that image back in. How cool is this? So if you think about that, you can open up Explorer or Finder, bring it into Photoshop that way, make your changes, save it to that directory, and then go back into Luminar, and it's back in. That's because of that active directory. All right? So now, now that I have it in, here comes a sports grid look, but I want to tone it way down. Right about here. And there we have it. So, before and after, yeah, the face is still too bright, so let's bring that way back. Good, and if I really, really want to, which I do, is I can come back over here and bring back some of the, there we go, and bring it back. There we have it. Great. All right. So how cool was that with that little extra little tidbit in there? And we were able to bounce back and forth all because I saved it in the same directory. So again, the quick tip for how to make incredible portrait portraits photographers is put their camera or their gear into it. An outdoor photo shoot would be really cool. Personally, putting the camera up to your face like this to take the picture, well, you can't see the subject. Mike Cabasi has a really cool one because he was on the set of NCIS and he was on an aircraft carrier, a real aircraft carrier. So he was all decked out and it looked cool. That's one he uses. But it's cool to bring the camera up maybe drop it down just a little bit, and so it's almost like you're in the middle of working. Um, Skip does bring out a suggestion. Um, Skip does bring out a suggestion where he likes action photographer action photos. So like you're out in your environment, you're taking a photo, boom. If you're in a studio, you're sitting in a cool chair, maybe your camera's off to the side, there's your environment. So that's your first step. And then decide how you want to edit it and have that creativity with it. So thank you. Now, let's see. Some of us use Luminar with Apple Photos. You know what? I was just talking to Brian Eschler on that, and we do have an article we've written on how to export your Apple Photos into, how to export them, how to get them out of the container. So look for that soon. Look for that because I do want to do something with that. I'm not a huge Apple person, but I do have access to a Mac, and we can see how it'll be great to export. Even if they had Aperture or iPhotos, export them out and then drop them into Luminar. So, okay, so yeah, Steven says, is it easy to import photos from Luminar in the Final Cut Pro? Well, again, all you're doing is exporting your image into like a folder, and then from Final Cut, if it's the same as Adobe Premiere, you just drag it and drop it into your timeline. So, let's see. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay. And Mike, there's a funnel plugin that works very well for Aperture. Let's see, what's he saying? Oh, since Aperture is gone, yes. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Please make sure you click and hit the thumbs up. And I'll give you that one more time, the Luminar or the book. So here it is, just in case you missed it, from from Fujifilm. Just follow this bit.ly, and you can download a free ebook on taking great portraits. So again, thank you guys so much for spending your time with us. I'll see you at the next coffee break.